Good morning, LinkedIn friends, Value First Nation. Welcome to another episode of Value First AI Daily, your collaborative intelligence report. It is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026.
That's the
How
year
are we
we're
doing
in.
today, folks?
Doing pretty good. Got some new releases, and not surprisingly, some shocking new stuff for everyday users.
Gotta love everyday users. I'm
Yes,
doing
we
good,
do.
Chris. How are you doing, Chris? I'm doing good.
I'm doing good. I am going to jump right into this video from Claude, from Anthropic, announcing Claude Cowork. Let's share my screen here.
Well, that was an interesting response to a Claude Cowork video.
Yeah, I have lots of thoughts. I'll share one, and then I want to hear you guys. I think it was yesterday that I mentioned a recent initiative with Claude Code was suggesting that I want to minimize the number of places I have to go during the day, the number of windows I have to work in, number of tabs, software, etc. And my ask was I want to work with Claude Code in the IDE and then have the Value First team platform as probably the other place. I think this probably gets to one place at some point, and I'm excited to see this development. And that's why I've been working with Claude Code in the desktop app as well, because it shouldn't have taken too much thought to understand once they put the Claude Code environment right next to the Claude LLM environment, that eventually those things were going to be connected in some way. And the first thing they show when you go from Claude to Cowork, like that Cowork is replacing code. So not surprising. And I think the one thing that's probably hard to take away from the video, and I really have only heard this because I don't have Mac. It's only available there right now. But those screens that were showing up is generative. So like depending on what you're working on. So when we think back to like Claude Imagine, and like he's just making apps as he needs them, like this is like they're just putting all the pieces together at this point, looks like.
Yeah, I mean it definitely is a bummer per usual that it's only available on Mac first and then PC, but I think that I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm not entirely sure if that's just a nostalgia thing or if it's like sort of like a a nice way of saying, like, let's do the low bandwidth first and then see how it goes. Um, but then again, when I also think about it, your your average PC user is also like an iPhone user, right? So I think that actually does work to like try to get it out to that crowd. And if that crowd like accepts it and the use case is there and the usage goes up,
Can
it works. I'm just wondering, like, by comparison to people who have been using Claude Desktop.
yeah. So I want to be the weird guy in the room and piece a couple puzzle pieces together. A day ago, 2 days ago, there was a thing about how Google and Apple are going to work together on the new Siri. And now Claude is releasing this and it's only on Mac. When ChatGPT launched their meetings transcription system, it was on Mac. There are too many things. And I know, Nico, you just said like the lowest bar to entry or the easiest way, but there are too many things that point in a direction that, like, sometimes you just have to, my opinion, send hate mail to Chris, not to me. Sometimes you just got to follow the money and what money can make things do. Okay.
All right.
That's I'm just gonna throw that out. Now here's what I want to really talk about with this thing. Is when I first saw the video, I was like, oh, okay, I've already built that in my terminal. Like I already have this system. But it's cool that other people who might not have the time, talent, or friends around them to be able to build something like that. It's good that they'll have it. And then I did do the same thing when it was like, Mac, son of a like I was just like, really, come on. But like, I don't hate it. Like, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's a needed piece. Where my brain goes to is like, there's going to be at some level this convergence, and maybe this is it, by the way, this convergence of normal chat, code chat, Claude in Chrome workability.
Oh, that's exactly
like, you know what I mean?
Is. Yeah. And I think my take on the first point, I think we're overthinking it. For a long time, when anybody's doing apps for anything, they would come out on Mac first because
But
it was
why?
an easier thing. It was an easier interface. It was an easier process. App Store existed first before Android, like so many reasons. And when I think about the way that this is meant to work, like Mac OS versus Windows, like definitely like vibes with Mac, the whole Mac experience that people want. So I could think of it in cases like product development. I think it's always to be considered. Whatever's easiest, the easiest path to getting something out the door is often the main reason why like the last decisions are made. But it is interesting to see all these companies working together in these various ways, which again points to the kind of collaboration we're seeing between like super competitive companies like is just not something we've seen before, and speaks to, I think, the importance of not getting left behind, and but also the importance of the like getting to where we need to go as quickly as possible and putting it in front of as many people as possible. But I think to your last point, George, like this is definitely the convergence. And it says in their blog here, when we released Cloud Code, we expected developers to use it for coding. They did, and then quickly began using it for almost everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's interesting there is when they say we expected developers to use it, like the people, when you have non-developers coming into, like, I immediately start using it for everything else, right? Because I think outside of code and like these just because I still like when I meet more product engineers and software like engineering experts,
Yeah.
it's they don't think outside of the guardrails in my opinion too much. They're thinking about like all of the like everything starts from code and how it works and how it needs to work and then how it like they take it from that direction into the production where I'm thinking production and user experience then coming back. And so I think it's a natural convergence and it definitely looks to be, them like putting the pieces together. I think just like I've talked about in HubSpot a lot, when you can open your mind to understand that there's trying to build a cohesive system at the end of the day and you see development over here, like get excited and start ideating about what it could mean like in the rest of the system and you're just so much you can leverage this stuff like so much faster. But
yeah, the only thing that's still kind of like that's the only statement that kind of threw me though was like, oh well, when we gave Claude Code to developers, they were really using it to do other stuff. And then you look at like what Claude Coworker is, and it's like, okay, well, that's Claude Desktop, basically, with like computer use and stuff, and like connectors to your internal files, which you kind of already have as well. So I don't know if it's so much like the tie-in to Claude Code, I didn't understand. I would have understood it a lot more if it was like we've redesigned Claude for desktop, right? Because trying to say that like Claude Coworker is some kind of offshoot of Claude Code doesn't work for me. Like it doesn't make sense. Like one is used to write programs, the other one's used to do shit. And I guess the reason I saw that split. Well, look, the only reason I have the split is due to this morning. Thanks NLP, doing your good deeds as always. And he was making it from AI Daily News Brief. Nathaniel was making a comment and was saying that when it came to Claude Code, that people were really coders were using it to do some interesting stuff, and then like normal people started getting a hold of it and started writing emails and started summarizing documents and started doing all sorts of really stupid office stuff with Claude Code. So then when somebody was like, oh, Claude Code for desktop for normal users, I was like, oh, awesome. There goes my usage limits because people want to start writing stupid ass emails and shit again and rewriting their favorite, whatever it is. Right. So that's why, like, just rebrand it as Claude for desktop. And please, please don't conflate these two things because they are not the same thing.
I just want to go back to the Claude Code is for writing programs. Man, it is so much more. Like literally, we were on a call for 3 hours, and Chris showed video editing with Claude Code. I literally have a folder, multiple folders in my desktop that I use Claude Code. Nico's like, I'm out. He doesn't even want to be part of the conversation. I'm like multiple folders that are things that have nothing. Now, have I built programs? Have I designed websites? Yes, but I have things that are absolutely nothing to do with programming and using Claude Code to do it because it smashes it out of the park. Like, so I'm nervous to say, and I didn't, you did, but I'm nervous to say that Claude Code is only for this when I'm watching what people also online are doing. And I don't mean like dumb office stuff. I mean like intelligent humans on YouTube channels, like creating dope systems around this. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess the main reason I say it is because like there's more. Yeah, I don't know. It's the fact that one company geared itself towards commercial use, geared itself towards white collar office use. The other company geared itself towards enterprise use. Fine,
You're afraid that they're going away from that.
they are. You don't make Claude Coworker for
Interesting.
enterprise. You make that for everyday use, and you don't advertise it on YouTube for enterprise. You advertise it on YouTube for everyday use. So
Wait a minute.
I mean,
What if we go with that knowledge, then normal humans don't work at enterprise level organizations.
no, they do.
Superhumans work at normal enterprise organizations because people who work at enterprise don't need easy tools to do the things they're trying to do during their day. Like, I don't know, a thing that they might go co-work and give out to the like people that work at enterprise organizations that want to do all of these. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
this is what we need to rethink, like the meanings of the words that we use.
Yeah.
Like programming is no longer just for developers.
Mm.
Like programming to build an app is certainly different from programming to like design your life.
Right.
And you
And I
haven't
guess
really
that's what
been
I'm getting
able.
at is like the number of people who are going to go from doing everyday. Look, I mean, look,
But you're suggesting that programming to design your life is not a valuable activity.
oh, it is.
And it definitely is. And I can only do that through Claude Code. And like just to put the pieces together, because I think like there's an argument for this still being enterprise, like this still being a path to further their impact on enterprise, right? So this is Cloud Desktop. And even though I was using like projects and stuff, I wasn't setting up, Ask the Very First Team. And there's still some other stuff I could have been doing with this that if I could come over here and use Cloud Code to set up more of that infrastructure, like I certainly would. Just tying it to these projects as like agents, I'm excited for when that day comes. But I've also dramatically reduced my usage of this side of this app.
Mm.
So, but then on the enterprise route, man, like what that video could be the next OS. And enterprise OSs are dominated by Windows.
Yeah.
Who jumps for joy when they start talking about the experience from Microsoft and Windows? So and
I don't know it.
we've also seen like Copilot. They should have been in the best position to do something like this, and they might be well on their way there now. I've enjoyed listening to like some of their new AI leader like conversations about what they're trying to do. But Copilot has like most people don't enjoy that experience. So either, and now that again, this is this convergence of if they're able to converge on these experiences and create this like just this vertical and enterprises loving the data security and this kind of functionality, how far are they away from being like, oh, maybe we don't need Windows like anymore. So I wouldn't I wouldn't count that out. Like this is basically could replace the user experience of any PC out there for sure.
Well, when it makes it to PC.
Yeah.
Which won't be long. I mean, like,
yeah.
The enterprise use of Mac, I think, is almost exclusive to anything entertainment potentially. So again, like I see the Mac play as nostalgic. I see the Mac play as desperation. Um, like honestly, I think they're just trying to do Tim Cook a favor, and I don't think they owe him anything. Should just let that company fold where it belongs. And it's a I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, look, I mean,
Wow.
they're way, 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 way back behind the game. Like so way back that they are just now like, oh, we're gonna make a deal with Google. Okay, cool. You made a deal with OpenAI. Awesome. Like who else is left? Why don't you just make a deal with the devil and go shake Microsoft's hand and maybe you guys will save your company.
Well, they're staying in they're realizing they need to stay in their lane and not develop AI,
I
like
mean,
in
yeah,
general. They
that's
clearly
what I'm
failed
saying.
at that.
You had
And but they still have this product infrastructure that has a huge audience that like that's what like they're going down the path they need to go on if they want to survive in terms of let's build what we're good at and not build what we're not good at and create all these partnerships. So it's going to be very like it's hard for me to imagine a day where there's not an Apple like hardware ecosystem around.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it can't happen for sure in this day and age, especially as like, you know, OpenAI starts creating pens and like, but the audience, right? Like the B2C audience that Apple has.
I think the time is coming up, right? And I think things like Cloud Coworker and continued efforts in that direction are really only. It's so funny that these companies think that they're saving Apple, and they don't realize that they're hastening its demise. Because the faster you put these tools in people's hands, the faster you give them freedom from having to be subjected to the same old shit all the time. So the faster you help people develop an operating system that they love better than Mac OS, Jaguar, Hawk, something, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's this is such an interesting conversation because the audience, like, because I think like when we first came out in the green room today, like we started talking about like people that like to talk about slop and like defense of human value, whatever the domain is.
Yeah.
Right. I am, and this is an assumption. Obviously, I'm probably judging like crazy here, but like when you think about the audience and customer profile of the people who would choose Apple ecosystem, like over Microsoft, over Google, like my guesstimation would be that the people that place a lot of value, maybe too much value or too much importance on the human like art, the human art and the creation of the thing. And it's just better because a human did it, even though an AI can maybe get a better emotional response. The fact that the human did it, like we've just got to hold that on a pedestal, right? The way that people talk about AI slop, like when they start to defend their writing or whatever their creative territory is, it's usually, like there's plenty of reasons and ways to defend it. But the ones that immediately go to like, oh, AI is just using stolen everything, so just like completely shut it off. Like, we shouldn't be considering its value. Like, I think it's just interesting to think about that. That there's an ecosystem there where if what I'm suggesting there is correct, people will be able to lean into those audiences in a different way than the people that are focused on like AI. Right?
Yeah.
Probably won't be as big. Well, that's not true. 25%
it'll get
adoption
there
in the US. Dang it, George.
No, I think I think it's a good a push in the good direction. And if like I don't know entirely. Like again, I think coworker gets Claude in the hands of more users that weren't using Claude before. Um, I think for regular users, yeah, it's going to be like a pretty big boost. Is it like, I don't know. It depends, right? Like adoption is still adoption. So that's what kind of sucks about it. So I'm hoping that people do see that you can do more. I think that the real thing is like doing more, like being slightly more either flawless or not quite in the way, right? Like that's one of the good things that or I should say that's one of the characteristics that Jobs was really good at when it came to product design was and Ives or Ive just making sure that whatever it was not actually in the way of you getting to where it was that you wanted. And even though GPT has like all of these connectors and stuff like that, and it can do a lot of this stuff, it's still like tab back and forth and go look at this thing and come back to this thing. So building that all in one definitely helps. People love that. They love the Swiss Army knife tool. Um, so yeah, I mean, I hope that it brings more users. I hope it breaks down the barrier. But
I mean, I think at the end of the day, the one thing that I haven't heard us say, and that where my brain is at the kind of end of this conversation, which by the way, this has been a very weird to me conversation. It's been a little bit all over the place, but it's kind of in the same thread. Where my brain is right now is like, it's just another choice. Like you have the choice to use or not use the things that are being created and delivered to us. And so like there might be a massive adoption that love it, and there might be a massive adoption that don't. Just like I said a year ago, there might be a massive part of the world that goes back to being Amish, and a massive part of the world that just leans highly into the tech side of where this world could be heading. We're just happen to talk about a company that made a new style of program based off of base things that they've been building. And now we have a choice. Our choice is good. Our choice is bad. It depends what choice you make.
Oh man, I don't think this is the last time we're going to talk about this one, but we're gonna end it for today. Hope everybody has a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.